So it's been about 20 minutes. We've allowed all the wax on the base of the board to dry. Now you want to just go over it with a scraper, a plastic scraper, first off. Some people just use a plastic scraper. Some people go over it again with a metal scraper after they're done with a plastic scraper. But basically, the amount that you want to scrape off is almost all of the wax that you applied on. Not all of it, almost all of it. I want to say about 90% of the wax you applied initially, you want to scrape off. So I spent about 5, maybe 10 minutes scraping with a plastic scraper, and another 5 minutes with a metal scraper. So yeah, it's dry, it's ready to be scraped. So one thing you never want to do when you scrape a board, a snowboard, after you apply wax, is scrape it like this, forward, with the edge going away from you. You want the edge closer to you, like this, and scrape it just like this. So, a good thing to have, if you don't have one, is a plastic mat or something under the board, so that the wax doesn't get into the carpet or whatever surface you're waxing on. So I mean, we have concrete floor down here, but it's a good idea to have some type of plastic mat to catch the wax. So here we go. So initially, yeah, you'll take off quite a bit of wax, but that's what you want. So if you're a beginner, if this is the first time you've started waxing, if this is the first time you waxed your board, then don't be afraid to take that wax off. It's not gonna hurt the wax job, because most of it's supposed to come off anyway. So. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm a pretty big Star Trek fan. I got the Star Trek shirt, pimping the Star Trek shirt. So I love me some Captain Kirk and some Spock. So love Star Trek. I've got my 686 little dog tag here. It's pretty. Wear that thing all the time. Just a couple things about me, I guess. But you wanna constantly be scraping the scraper, getting the wax off the edge of the scraper, and getting the wax off of the board. So you just want to be constantly and when you're scraping, you want to apply even pressure all along the scraper. You don't want to apply more pressure on one side versus the other side. You want to apply even. So because if you apply more pressure on one side, the scraper is going to dig into the base of the board, and you don't want that. So apply even pressure, about 45 degrees, just like this. We're going to come back to that side, but for now, go on to the other side here. Scraping your board, remember that you want to apply quite a bit of wax to the edges because you spend most of your time writing on your edges. So when you scrape the board, you want to make sure you scrape the edges too. It's good to go over them with a longer side of the scraper But if you want to, it's a good idea too to go over the edges with the shorter side of the scraper. So again, make sure you apply even pressure to the scraper so that you don't dig in to the base of the board when you do this. Don't smoke, kids. It's bad for your health. So. Don't do drugs. Some people might be done after this much waxing. Personally, I go over both sides twice. Just to make sure you get the wax off with a plastic scraper, and then I'll go over it again with this metal scraper. Alright, so now that we're done with the plastic scraper, we can move on to the metal scraper. You don't want to use the small side on this. There's too much of a chance that you'll scratch the base and take off too much wax. So you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. You have to be really careful with this metal scraper, because you definitely don't want to scratch the base of the board. Generally, when you use the metal scraper, you'll get less rides out of your wax job, but it'll go a little bit faster because it makes the wax a little bit smoother, just a little bit smoother. So maybe if you wax it and use a metal scraper, you'll get maybe 3 or 4 rides, but it'll be a little bit faster. Versus if you don't use the metal scraper, you might get 5 or 6 rides. It just won't be quite as fast. There's not that big of a difference. The gap, I mean, you probably won't really notice it, but it's just for guys who just like their tuning to be just right. So for people that really pay attention, maybe for advanced writers, I guess you would say. went over it with the plastic scraper and then the metal scraper. The only thing I have left to do now is to go over it with a brush. So we're going to do that, and then I always like to look at my board after it's done, just to kind of shine it up against the light so I can see the wax job on it. I did a pretty damn good job this time, so pretty stoked about it. Yeah, let's just go over it with a brush and get all the little pieces of wax off, and the edges, kind of get the wax off the edges. It doesn't matter if you go over the edges though, because you kind of want wax on the edges anyways, but I don't know, I do. It doesn't matter though if you do or not. Like a buff. It's a good idea to do after you're done waxing, after you're done scraping, and you it kind of smooths it out a little bit. Oh yeah, man, that feels so smooth. Feels amazing. Waxing the board. Wax on, wax off. Wax job is done. So yeah, you can after you're done brushing, you can feel the board, and you can put it up against the light to see the quality of the wax job. I did a pretty good job. That's just because I'm so darn good. But anyways, you can feel the base, feel how smooth it is, feel that smoothness. You can rub your beard on it, just like this. Just like that. That feels pretty good. So yeah, that's how you wax the board. Don't turn it off yet. Remember, kids, you always want to clean up the excess wax after you're done. You always want to make sure the iron's off, because that could burn the house down. Parents will kill you if you do that. But yeah, this is the board. I love my Never Summer. It's a nice board. What am I missing? Well, kids, that's how you wax a board. That's part 2. Wear 686 outerwear. I've got some 686 jeans on. They're pretty nice jeans. That's another video, but I don't know. I recommend 686. So stay cool, kids. Alright, you can turn